Hello and welcome to Uncommon Conversations on Signature Television. We are reaching you from our Enugu studios. And this evening, we're going to have a robust conversation on a very rare topic, an uncommon topic, if you will. Ada Education Foundation and the future of Nsukka Cultural Zone. Of course, you know that in Enugu State, there's a distinct cultural group known as the Nsukka Cultural Group. Just to provide a background, the Nsukka Cultural Zone refers to a part of Enugu State occupying contiguous land areas located to the north of Igbo land, southeast Nigeria. The zone is blessed with one particular dialect of the Igbo language with at least 20 varieties. It is made up of 7 local government areas: viz. Igboeze North, Igboeze South, Udenu, Nsukka, Ozowani, Igbo Etiti, and of course Isuzo. But as a senatorial zone, it is short of one local government area, and that is the Isuzo, which has remained a source of uncommon political controversies and intrigues. This is a story for another day. The cultural zone has an impressive landmass and an estimated population of about 52% of the total population of Enugu State. It has produced a deputy governor, a speaker, and 2 governors. Also, a former President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, a former national chairman of the PDP, and of course, a former chairman of the PDP in the state. He had produced ministers and many top business, political, and corporate leaders. The current chairman of Enugu State Traditional Rulers Council is from the zone, and he's also the chairman of Southeast Traditional Rulers Council. The chief of naval staff is from the zone, and I do hope that they also have a deputy commissioner of police.
Deputy Inspector General
Deputy Inspector General of Police. The famous University of Nigeria is also in the zone.
Deputy Governor of the state.
And currently the Deputy Governor of the state. In spite and despite all the above, the zone believes, rightly or wrongly, that it has received the short end of the stick from governors in Enugu State. It's still a matter to be discussed. In the studio with me this evening, to speak to an uncommon effort to reposition the zone for an enduring and sustainable path to development, and if you like, total emancipation. I have, seated to my left, Honorable Uchenna, who is the founder and chairman of the Board of Trustees of Ada Education Foundation. Honorable Uchenna, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, listeners.
And to my right, it was short Amechi Ugwele, head documentation, Ada Education Foundation, Secretariat. What short? Good evening.
Good evening and welcome to the show.
So gentlemen, welcome to Signature Television and welcome to Uncommon Conversation.
Thank you.
My name is Uchenna, Cyril, Anioke, and I'm your host. Chinedu, let me start with you.
Okay.
Why Ada Education Foundation at this time?
Well, Ada Education Foundation is an initiative designed for us to maximally benefit from the University of Nigeria and Nsukka that is sited in our place and other institutions of higher learning, and to make a robust attempt to accelerate human capacity building in our senatorial zone. That is the whole essence of the Ada Education Foundation.
Okay, to accelerate educational development
and human capacity building.
Now, when was this foundation founded?
I just got the certificate of incorporation of that certificate, that foundation today.
Today?
Today.
Let's briefly look at, by now I'm sure you have the organizations running.
Yes.
Let's start with the Board of Trustees. Who are the members of the Board of Trustees?
The Board of Trustees of the Ada Education Foundation include the following. The Catholic Bishop of Nsukka Diocese, His Lordship Professor Igwebike Ona. His Lordship, the Anglican Bishop of Nsukka Diocese, also. Abu. We have Mr. Wilson. We have also the chairman of Enugu State Traditional Rulers Council and our brother Festus Oshaba Ferotex. These are members of the Board of Trustees. I'm actually the chairman of the board. In terms of the entire governance structure
Yes.
of the foundation, we have 7 professors drawn from the 7 local governments that make up the cultural zone as the advisory committee, headed by Professor O.C. Okanya. They constitute the body that advises us on the dynamics and the runnings of the foundation. We have a secretariat populated by 2 persons each from the 7 local governments that make up the cultural zone. Then we have the ambassadors. The ambassadors are the contributors to that education foundation. We also have our beneficiaries and various rules assigned to them. We have a unit in the foundation that is dedicated for vocation and vocational training. We also have another unit for mentorship, because we found out that the upcoming young ones these days, some of them do not actually know what they want. So we want to begin to imbue in them the courage to dare and let them appreciate that there's nothing wrong in positive thinking, so that they will get to where ordinarily left alone, they might not get there. So we're bringing all our beneficiaries as mentees under a group of mentors that we've selected.
Okay, before I delve into some very important issues, I want to clear something.
Okay.
And it would be interesting if you actually clear this. And I was asking my friend Watshot. I know for sure that 2 of you have different political interests and inclinations. And so I'm surprised seeing 2 of you working together. So Watshot, what informed this coalition? Is it a rainbow coalition?
Well, thank you very much. This is very, very, very important question, and that requires a very clear answer, which is at the bedrock of what is motivating this foundation, which transcends every other pedestrian considerations, partisanship, and other things that actually set us back, to show that when the matter comes to the head, Adada is one. There are issues, of course, yes, definitely. When you talk about politics, there's even no time that we would expect everybody to belong to one party. It doesn't even augur well for us that we put all of our eggs in one basket, considering what Nigeria is like today. Because there is no party that you would say, yes, that it is guaranteed that if you're there, that is where you will get it all. So I remember what Ezolu said in Hour of God, that the reason why he sent Oduche to the new religion is to make sure that the diversity that he's witnessing evolving in his society also gets to his own homestead. That the hallmark of a great home is the ability to have somebody that could dance to any tune that is brought into the homestead, that he wants to do that. So we don't even talk about politics. We don't even think about politics. We are talking strictly about education. And it is because the founder of this foundation is somebody who has invested so much privately in capacity building in that direction. He's somebody who has come to understand that managing the scarce resources that we have in education very well is very, very, very important in producing results. That there is a nexus between, you know, the resources you have and the utilization to maximally get results in terms of education. Having also understood the importance of education in every community, in every civilization. So, for as far as I'm concerned, what is bringing us together under this context is more important than any other thing that could have actually set us apart. So the moment he muted the idea to me, it was a go. I didn't think about politics. In fact, I don't think there is any table in Nsukka Cultural Zone that could accommodate people with diverse political, economic, social, and whatever, you got, more than this. And it is because education is education. Okay. Even if you are reading political science, it is education. If you are reading, like PDP has a school where they study democracy, it's education. So whichever one you want, you go there, will facilitate that you have access to it and study and bring back to us, so that any day there is a dance that is brought to Nsukka Cultural Zone, we should have people who are empowered, capacitated to understand the tune and dance to the tune.
Okay, thank you very much.
In addition to what
yes,
what you said,
I want to ask you to speak to that.
The truth is that we are discussing development.
Yes.
And when I introduced the Adada Education Foundation, I told you that it's a subnational initiative to accelerate capacity building in that zone. Therefore, we do not know parties. We have bipartisan relationship as far as this foundation is concerned. We have consulted widely. The immediate past governor of Enugu State, who is a PDP, we consulted him. We are in touch with our senator, who is of Labour Party. We are in touch with the deputy governor of PDP. So we are not interested in party leanings. We want to work together as a group. Can you come and
let me ask you. There must be a motivating factor beyond just to have people educated. In my intro, I talked about the Nsukka Cultural Zone, thinking and believing, rightly or wrongly, that they received the short end of the stick in Enugu State. Could that be a motivating factor?
No. The motivating factor is that it's a problem or a challenge, not only in our zone, but across the country. Our youths today are no longer interested in going to school. Even though we have University of Nigeria and Nsukka within our area, a lot of people are choosing to do other things. They are in fast lanes. But as a people whose culture abhors such things, we decided to say, gentlemen, we need to arrest these budding youths and put them back to the right direction. And that is why we're coming with this foundation that will give scholarship and incentives. Of course, part of what we're going to do almost immediately, all of our sons and daughters that have first class and comfortable 2-1, we'll mop them up and send them overseas for their master's program. So those of our people who say that education is not important will see that without parents of those who had first class contributing a dime that are already overseas, that will let them know truly that education is important. Of course, you know that the entire globe, all economies that are doing well are knowledge-driven economies. So we want to prepare our people to be able to compete favorably, not only in national scene, but in global scene. We are thinking locally, wanting to act global.
Okay, Amechi, you are head of documentation, and that's quite a heavy load. That means it falls on you to put together people from Nsukka Cultural Zone, from different parts of the country, wherever they are, who perhaps have achieved but are unknown.
Yeah.
This task is maybe Herculean. How are you handling that?
Well, it's challenging but very interesting in the sense that it will make me to know our people, our place the way I never did before. Sometimes people think that, a task is a burden. But there are some tasks that actually expose you and elevate you to certain positions and even privileges that are very positive. Like this, I now have the authority and the drive and the inspiration to track and follow our people wherever they are, to track and follow institutions and possibly where people could explore, knowledge, and then we report. When these people are, because we want to scatter them all over the globe, there is no limit. The inspiration is huge. The ambition is enormous. We want to scatter them, throw our seeds all over the globe, and we believe that they will fall at the right places. All the lines will fall accordingly as desired. And we will track these people, follow them. Wherever our people are, we want them to be entrenched. And like he said, you see, it's not just going to school. We've come to understand that anything we are going to do, we must vocationalize it. So that as you are going to school, because part of the reasons why people are beginning to develop this strong aversion for education is because of the low incentive, the low reward, the low output that you see with somebody who has spent so much resources and time going to school in Nigeria. But as we are talking with you now, what we want to do is that we want to make opportunity, providence, and privilege to come together. If you are in America, it is our ambition and our intention that you are exposed to the best of education there and the best of opportunities there. Like as you are going to school, we'll begin to plan that if you are in ICT, you know about Cisco, you know about Google, you know about Microsoft, and how to be part of the activities and engagement and certification, so that wherever you are armed to actually function. We are talking about functional education. We are talking about knowledge that, of course, will be productive. It's not just that you go to school. No. And let me tell you, it is going to be all-embracing and very comprehensive, because as we are doing it, we are investing on this to rub off on our community and then to actually extend our influence and play globally, so that wherever our people are, we will have people who are exposed, who are following the knowledge and who are following the development of these places, and who also know about our place and how both could marry to give us an edge. Of course, yes, like he said, you talked about we believe we hold the short end of the stick. The truth is that what drives ambition is that continuous belief that you could have more. Whether wrongly or rightly, yes, we believe that we should have more. Leave politics aside, but we believe that at least with our own hands and within our own resources that we pull together, we can actually expose our people to the best of our educational opportunities across the world. The world is knowledge driven. Look at this studio. If you don't know it, you cannot do it. If you want to be a cameraman, if you want to be an anchor, if you want to be a technician, if you want to work, on their ICT department, you must know it. And when we talk about education, we are not talking about just going to sit down and be speaking grammar. No, you are going to work with your brain, you are going to work with your hand, we are going to see it, we are going to know it, and we are going to be able to replicate what you see. So it's an educational engagement that will take total consideration of vocations. Like, yes, if you want to be a Faulknizer, that is your drive. We will train you. Learning it is part of the education we're talking about. But we'll make sure that you become the best Faulknizer in town.
Let me just take that off your lips and come to Chinedu. You see, when I had a conversation with you before this program, you said other education foundation. And what Betty started, what I'm going to ask you. What of the artisans? What of those who are not in school? What are those who are skilled manpower? How do they benefit from this? Otherwise, if they are not in the picture, perhaps you could be discriminating against your own people.
Yeah. The Education Foundation has a component designed for skill acquisition, for vocational training. What we intend to do is to make sure that it's not only those that are eager to go to school that we are going to empower. There are a number of our people that have gone to learn one trade or the other, who are roaming the streets at home, not doing anything yet. Our intention is to do a refresher course or training for them within the areas they have trained, get their certificate, and instead of giving them money, we'll get basic tools for their takeoff and give to them so that they will start doing something. As we speak, there are some of our people who are good arc welders, but they cannot get jobs in Shell and other companies.
Okay.
We have designed a curriculum, certificate courses in arc welding, software engineering, and others for them to be certificated. They already have the know-how, but because they are not certificated, we are going to get those certificates for them. We have approached National Board for Technical Education to certify the center we have designed for skill acquisition. So we're not leaving anybody. We want all
Okay.
to be part of the
So
foundation.
you're talking about those who have traditional skills,
Yes.
and those who have formal education.
All right.
Now, in the course of your enumeration of the Board of Trustees, one particular segment of society appear to, you didn't mention them, and they're quite important, and these are traditional rulers.
Maybe you didn't listen to me well.
Maybe you didn't speak well.
A member of the Board of Trustees currently is the chairman, Enugu State Traditional Rulers Council,
Okay.
and also the chairman of Southeast Traditional Rulers Council, the Igwe of Edemani.
To what extent have they bought into this program?
Of course, he is full, completely involved from conception till date. Ogadagidi
Okay.
is one of us. 2 others are representing the business community. That is Festus Oshaba, Ferrotex Nigerian Limited, and our brother Wilson. Wilson is the biggest employer of labor in our cultural zone today, that has over approximately between 10 to 12,000 persons working for him daily.
What does it do?
Palm kernel oil.
Palm kernel.
Oil.
Solive.
Extraction, refining of oil. Solive oil.
Where is it based?
Bestie,
Nsuka.
Bestie noodles.
Nasukanka.
Yeah, Nasuka. Nke Makware. Nke Ma. We're thinking home gradually.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's part of us. Of course, you know that the 2 bishops, both Catholic and Anglican, are part of it. I'm also there. So all tendencies are in the Board of Trustees.
Okay. Prior to the emergence of Ada Education Foundation, there have been other organizations in Nsukka that seem to project the identity development in Nsukka, politically, religiously, and culturally. What makes Ada Education Foundation different?
Well, maybe you are discussing social groupings
Okay.
or religious bodies, or even those that belong to political parties. Ours is clearly education knowledge based, and it is clearly in the name. It's Education Foundation. There are multiplicity of other organizations. There's Ada General Assembly. There's Ada various other foundations, but ours is purely for education, empowerment, and skill acquisition.
Okay. What short? I'm sure this kind of program, there's no way you could start it, run it to a level without some hiccups, without some naysayers. How much of that did you see?
Oh, well, you know, we knew from the beginning. Nsukka area happens to be one of the places that currently you could encounter a lot of people with political sophistication, and people who are also dealing with political issues that have made a lot of people to be wary of certain things. So, like you said, he himself is a chieftain of the PDP. And myself, of course, I have my own political persuasions. You know, so when he muted the idea and some of us bought into it, some actually said, oh, this is a PDP initiative. But when people like us, you know, hung on and became very vocal, very determined, and said, no, we know what he's doing. We have bought into that, and we are willing to give it a shot, you know. So people now began to wait and see whether it will go the way of the others. But they now saw that there has not been any organization, there has not been any initiative in Nsukka that has gone the extent this has gone towards bringing people from various leanings together. And look, there's nobody who doesn't want to go to school. There's nobody who doesn't want his own person to go to school, to learn, or to be armed, equipped with one skill or the other. So people said, well, if these people are really talking about education, then it transcends politics. And now let me tell you one interesting thing that maybe we're going to come to. Some people said, oh, some people just want to throw money and buy everybody. And then some people will say they have brought billions. They are sponsoring everybody in going to school. He had an answer to that. He said, no, let me tell you, everybody is an equal stakeholder in this. And how are we going to do it? We will say there will be an annual contribution every year. Because we have an app. You go there.
Yes, that may just have to wait.
Okay, because but
I'm going to come to how do you intend to raise
okay,
funds.
now let me just say,
without going to the basics.
Okay, now let me just say that number one is we are very careful to design it in such a way that there will be equal sense of belonging,
nobody's going to hijack
equal
it.
sense of participation, equal contribution, and equal commitments. That's just the thing.
Okay.
So that if all of us are here, it is designed in such a way that we will play our part and go home, and I will have no reason to believe that I'm using this thing against you people, because your stake is as equal as mine.
Okay. Chinedu, this is a very, in Africa, in Nigeria, one of the commonest causes of disputes, conflict, is finance. Not only about how to raise the finance, but about how to manage their finance, and then accountability. You must put this in perspective. So in your calculation, how would this come to normalcy?
Okay, what we have done, as I speak to you, an app is being developed. With that app, once you are a contributor, once you contribute to the fund, a link will be sent to you. Because it is those that fund organizations that are entitled to know what happens in their finances. Once you contribute, a link will be sent to you, you download it, it will be in your phone. Whatever happens in that account, even when others pay in, you see the name, the account where the person is paid. When we start spending money, you also see it there. So at the end of the year, you can sit back in your own house and reconcile the account. You know the amount paid in and the amount that is expended. So it is there. The accounting system is self-accounting for all people that are contributing in it. So with that, nobody will even ask me or any other board member to come and account for them, because all funders have access to the accounts.
Okay, it looks simple, but it could still be complex.
Let me add.
Wow.
Yes.
Just let me add. Just as you are paying, you are now privileged to see everything. This is the number of students we have. This is the number of schools they are attending. This is the obligations to these schools. And then this has been paid. This is remaining. This is what we have. You will see it. Just like in the banks, as you are posting, you are seeing the credit, you are seeing the debit. There is no time anybody will say, okay, go, come and do accounts for us. It's instantaneous, spontaneous, and just online, real time. As you go, you see it. So, like you said, yes, people have used this kind of things. We are doing public things to do some other things. But the real intention is to send our people in fact, to bring them together with opportunities, the best opportunities in the world. Because we know where we are coming from. We know
where you are going, you may not know.
Yes, where we are going.
Or do you know?
So we are taking a shot at the moon. If we go beyond the moon to go to the stars, fine. Okay? But we want to launch our people out there. And in doing so, we know that we need their buy-in and we need the retention of our people's participation. And one thing is to run a credible organization. Credible organization that is based on transparency, based in the best practices, corporate governance that everybody sees. You don't even need to ask any question. It's all there for you. But if you ask any question at any time, the Secretariat is prepared to make available to you all of your requests. Even the students will be accessible to you. Everybody in Nsukka Cultural Zone. We are talking about artisans, artists, creative people, politicians, business people, elites, the ordinary person. everybody is part of it. You are part of it, and to the extent that you can ask question to him, to any of us, and get all of your answers, even if you can't get it there. You know, some people are not tech savvy.
Okay.
So for those who cannot follow what is there, the secretariat is available 24 hours to address any of your concerns.
Okay. Honorable Chinedu,
Yes.
ideas are like seeds. You plant them, they germinate. If you don't water them, they may die. How do you intend to keep this idea alive?
Yeah, the truth is that it's true. It's said that ideas rule the world. What we are doing now has gone beyond the realms of ideas. We've gotten a number of our people that are subscribed to this. Part of the sustainability design is that, for instance, assuming we have 500 beneficiaries that are attending a particular university in Nigeria, and will have their fees. Because we are dealing directly with the university, we just send the names of all these people that were going to pay their fees. Before payment of that fees, the money we'll have will be invested either in treasury bills or whatever it is, towards the period of exams of the who can now pay their fees. There are other dynamics we've created to make sure that we'll be able to get funds to sustain this. And the moment, which is a commitment we've made to our people, that the entire thing will be transparent and people begins to benefit, even those who benefit will be the people, the ambassadors of this foundation that will begin to speak more of the foundation. And we've made a commitment to our people that we are going to be as transparent as possible so that our people will continue to buy into it. Besides, what is expected of any of our people to, in terms of financial contribution is mega.
Okay, there's one issue we're not going to gloss over, and that is criteria. How do you determine who gets qualified to have this?
Our intention,
Yes.
number one, you are going to have to be from your ward, through your traditional ruler and your ward representative, including your local government. You are going to get letters of identification from them. And then if you are admitted in the University of Nigeria, you get your admission letter. Once you get your admission letter and you are selected, we'll now begin to deal with it.
Is that this selection process I'm interested?
Yes.
Is it everybody who gets admission that gets this? What qualifies somebody to get this? Is this every soccer person who gets admission that gets this benefit?
The first set of people who are targeting are those of them who have first class.
Okay. Now
It doesn't matter the university where you
are defining that now.
Once you have first class, you are qualified for our overseas training.
Overseas. And if you have a 2-1?
We'll come down that way because we are going to collate their transcripts.
Okay.
We'll start from first class.
Okay.
We'll continue to come down. So that even when you are not selected, you look at the table and see where you rightly belong. So it's not whether Mr. A likes you or Mr. V doesn't like you. Then when we come back to those of us who are going to benefit locally,
Yes.
even though as it is today, that even if you study any course, you can be whatever, but there are still these disciplines that we are going to give some measure of attention to.
That discrimination. No?
Well, if you like, call it that way. But there's some measure
because today,
some measure of attention will be given to some disciplines.
But times have shown.
Issues like ICT.
Times have shown. Times have shown
that
it's no longer that because you studied engineering. They become.
No, it's
you,
you that
I'll give you an
you are
example.
mentioning engineering. I've not
That
mentioned
you become more important than the man who studied music. It doesn't fall anywhere.
No. Let me tell you. Okay,
Yes.
he's still on, but let me just say this.
Yes.
You see, there are some dynamics that will always be at play. Of course, everybody cannot be a mathematician. Everybody cannot be an engineer. There will always be a kind of balancing. And we know, of course, there are some disciplines that are needed in the community. Even community service, for community service, we know that. But of course, we are not unaware that there are some areas that we would want. For instance, today, it is a deliberate government policy to support girl child in science, STEM. You understand? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Okay? So, because we know the kind of economy we run, we know the kind of academic environment we have. But if we have somebody who could be Microsoft certified, Google certified in ICT, for instance, we went in the course of our activities in Adada, we were privileged to learn that a leading ICT based company in Nigeria, in fact, telecommunication company, needed people with minimal ICT knowledge. They couldn't see who to employ. He told you about arc welding. These are places that we know that if you give priority and people are there, they can become immediate players and begin to contribute to the economy of the zone. If they begin to remit, remittance. If remittance, so for instance, if you have people working in the oil sector in the Niger Delta, they begin to bring in money. You have people who are with the ICT firms, people who are working with the telecommunication firms and all that. Yes. And then we also have people who could be at home, all right? The organizers. And we know that there will still be some categories of people who will want to learn from the person that we trained with all the equipments. Even if the person didn't pass through our auspices, then maybe because he has established in the community, we know that some people may be interested in him. So the point is that, yes, in Nigeria, the reality is that there are some courses, there are some disciplines that are hotcakes.
Like what you're saying, that there'll be emphasis on some.
Yes, it's not everybody is everybody is available for everybody, but we know where we are deficient. We are talking about a place, a sub-region, a subcultural zone. We know if you come to Nsukka Cultural Zone and say, how far have we gone with doctors, lawyers, engineers, musicians, actors, and all of that?
Teachers, etc.
Teachers, and we know our status there, and we want to balance. We want to juggle things up. All those areas that we are lacking people, we adjust. Some areas that we need more people, we adjust.
Okay.
It's not structured to follow a particular pattern.
That's understood. You say you just got the
certificate of incorporation today.
Okay. Is there any preparations to bring this Adada Education Foundation to the public?
Sure.
Beyond,
Yeah.
How soon would that happen?
We are going to unveil Adada Education Foundation on the 26th of September this year.
Definite. Okay.
That is going to happen at the Princess Alexandra Auditorium, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. We have designed the program that His Lordship, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Hassan Kuka, is going to chair the event. Other notable Nigerians are going to be there. Professor Ositobu is the distinguished lecturer that day. So we expect also that very likely I'm going to unveil one of my books, which is designed to speak to the audience and to clearly show the direction for this foundation, where, of course, Iko Tuenye, we transited from Iko Tuenye to Igwebike.
Transition from
Iko Tuenye to Igwebike. That means, in essence, I'm tracing what I, Chinedu, and other individuals had previously done in support individually for education. Linking it up now to now that we are making attempt for a collective to now fund education in a place, which is Iko Tuenye. So
I like this, a transition from Iko Tuenye
to Igwebike.
Actually, our time is actually
up.
running up small, but I'm going to ask one pertinent question. And that question has to do, where do you expect this foundation to be? And where do you expect the Nsukka Cultural Zone to be in the next 5, 10 years, if this foundation is properly implemented? What is the future? Because that's actually the issue. What's the future?
Our expectations is that in the next 5 years, we will have set up at least 500 families, 250 families at home, 250 families overseas, to increase the diaspora remittances from those people to our place. To also train not less than 1,000 of our own people in the first 2 years in different trades. As I speak to you now, we are working out the details with the Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where we've proposed to set up Ada Education Foundation Resource and Research Center. We want to fund it, provide everything, internet, for the place to run 24/7. By the time we finish setting up that place, students of University of Nigeria will compete to be using there, because we are going to have 2 for electricity and 2 for internet. And it is our intention to hook up to other organizations that will provide data for us.
Very briefly,
resources for us.
Do you have a secretariat now?
Yes.
Where?
Inside the local government secretariat in Nsukka. It's a temporary, it's a take-off secretariat.
Okay, I'm going to be asking you what may look like your final question, but it's going to be a little bit trickish.
Okay.
Look back at Nsukka Cultural Zone in the past several months. Just take 30 seconds. Tell me one uncommon disadvantage that people have had, then in terms of governance, then in terms of development, that you look back and say, look, this is not good for our people. That is generic to our people.
Okay. Nsukka is a place that we've had a lot of expectations. Some were met and some were not met. When we talk about development, of course, we've made some leaps. We've registered some things. We have some new schools. The medical.
I'm talking about the one that pains you guys most.
Okay, then I'm coming.
No, we don't have time for.
Okay, we've had some schools, new schools. Don't forget that we've been playing with only the University of Nigeria and Nsukka. And if you ask me, what is actually what I would have wished that Nsukka had, yeah, that road. If we could have had a dualized Opi Ugogo Nsukka road, that would have been better for us.
Okay, that's one uncommon thing. Chinedu,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you both, negative or positive. One uncommon thing that you have thought should have done before now for your people, and what has been done?
Well, for the past 60 years, it's only University of Nigeria and Nsukka that's been there.
Okay.
But His Excellency Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi gave us another university. It's a positive, uncommon thing.
That's the Sumas.
Yes, the Sumas. He is the founder of that institution.
And then
So,
the reverse side.
reverse side, what his inability to give us a vice chancellor.
Give you a vice.
Is a sore point. Is a sore point.
Is he
That's
is
what-
he the senator of the
No,
university?
listen, we've had various governors. Sullivan made a vice chancellor. Chimaroke made a vice chancellor. We expected that he too should make a vice chancellor. I mean, take it or leave
But he gave
it.
you one at Sumas.
Take it or leave it. That's what it is for me.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Our guests have been Worshot Amechi Ugule, who is the head documentation of Ada Education Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Chinedu Honorable,
Thank you.
who is the founder and chairman, board of trustees of the Ada Education Foundation. I'm sure those who are watching us must have benefited a lot, or have gained a lot from this interaction. We look forward to September the 26th.
Yes.
And I do hope that those of us who are in the media here will be part of that, will be active partners.
Certainly.
There's no way Signature TV will not be active partners.
Certainly. Certainly.
Of course, on that note, I want to thank you guys, and do hope that when next we have the opportunity to invite you on some other issues, not just about Ada Education Foundation, that you find time to be here. So thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for watching.